Well done. Thank you, Ladan. All right, moving right along. Thanks for sticking around. I know we're running a little bit late. We are turning the mic over to, last but not least, to Joe Bryant II. Joe works in diversity and inclusion with VF Corporation. And so I'm going to hand it right over to Joe and go on with it.
No, I don't get an applause. That's awesome. I was just about to sit up here and say, this is always a room where I feel the most at home. And y'all just gonna not clap. First thing first. I'm really focused on love right now, with everything going on. First things first, thank you to Kenji for putting this together. Second, thank you to all the other speakers who shared some really exciting things. Third things third, today's my dad's birthday, so can I get a really quick happy birthday? Happy birthday. And the reason that is important, he is a Southern Baptist preacher, and my promise to him is that I will not be up here as long as he's on the pulpit on Sundays. I'll be concise. I really just wanted to spend my time talking about really two words as I was sitting there in the audience. And that's reflection and perseverance. I think back to a year ago with where VF was in our journey. A lot of transition. In the process of relocating several individuals and their families to the Colorado Rockies, in the process of relocating the world headquarters, in the process of relocating several brands. And I reflect back to where we were at that time and to now be in our temporary space in Greenwood Village, to be transitioning down to downtown here later this year. It really gets me excited about really the perseverance of our associates and the perseverance of our teams. But one thing that has remained throughout that time of transition is our commitment to inclusion and diversity. And really for us, the reason I'm excited is to talk to you all a little bit about what inclusion means to us. For us, we really want to make sure that whether you're a consumer, whether you're a candidate in the talent pipeline, whether you're an associate in our stores, in our supply chain environments, or in our corporate environments, that you can feel valued, supported, or championed. And make sure that you have an opportunity to develop your career and own your career in an equitable ecosystem that creates that opportunity for you. So I wanted to share 4 things that we're doing in Q4, which for us is January, February, and March, to really give you all a little insight into some of the work that we've been doing. The first is our Jonestown Distribution Center talent strategy. We understood as we've really thought about making sure that our conversation around inclusion is more than gender and more than people of color. We looked at people with disabilities in that community and the lack of opportunities that they have had historically as it relates to work, whereas their desire to work has always been high. So again, 18 months ago, our leader, Reggie Miller, along with the supply chain executive, traveled to a Walgreens distribution center in South Carolina to understand what they have been doing over the past 15 years in creating an environment and a process for people with disabilities to come in and begin working into their factories. So for us, we started to do that. And we launched our talent strategy again, Perseverance, 18 months ago. Our East Coast Distribution Center came online last January. And I'm excited to say that next month in February, we'll be launching our Inclusions Talent Strategy, where we will be welcoming in a cohort of 4 to 6 people with disabilities. We redesigned the distribution center to create a test lab for those individuals to spend 8 weeks practicing and learning in a controlled environment what their jobs will actually be when they get on the floor. So again, that will be in Jonestown, Pennsylvania, and we're really excited about adding that component of people with disabilities to our global disability strategy. The second thing I want to talk about is our Employee Resource Group Leadership Summit. I see some people in here who will be participating in that, and I'm really excited for that. We have over 40 Employee Resource Group leaders coming from all around the world to the Denver area to learn about what ERGs will need to be for the company moving forward. But the reason I get excited about this is because of those three words. I'm not sure if you can see it: education, experience, and exposure. We want to make sure that the leaders who are putting in this work to champion inclusion and diversity within our brands and our campus locations get this opportunity and access with our senior leaders. So we're starting with a welcome reception with our CEO to really talk about the importance of ERGs to the company. We'll start the afternoon of day 2 really understanding the new governance and really the structure and really support that our team will provide them so they can continue to champion inclusion and diversity around our 4 C's: career, commerce, community, and culture. The reason I'm excited about the Leadership Summit is because we've really embedded our executive sponsors into that process. Each of our executive sponsors will be talking about a different topic that most people don't get an opportunity to talk about in a structured environment. Things like strategy, right? What's the where to play, how to win, and how can you embed this into your ERG strategy for the following fiscal year? Things like influence, the importance of listening and understanding your stakeholders so that you can accomplish a team goal. Things like business acumen, understanding the importance of managing a P&L and how understanding that financial component can accelerate your career. And then the thing that I get most excited about is our executive speed networking, where we'll have members of our executive leadership team and vice presidents sit down with our leaders for about 15 minutes each in a group setting and rotate and talk about things like, what are you most passionate about? What's been your biggest career accomplishment thus far? And that really goes back to the word of access, right, to me. So we're really excited about that. And then we'll spend the third day really talking about your fiscal 21 action plans and how you can leverage this, the things that you've learned to accelerate that. We'll also have a keynote speaker and do a best practices panel as well. February starts on Saturday, so we're really excited for Black History Month and, of course, International Women's Day. Say that again. International Women's Day and Women's History Month will be right around the corner. And we're excited because we have multiple activations that are led by our brands throughout the Americas. 3 of our movement territories, we have 3. They're Outside Matters, Worthy Works, and Free to Be. And so we've been excited to see how we've been able to embed those territories into the themes of our work. So here, and I love what James said about the adventure gap, because here in Denver, in collaboration with our multicultural employee resource group, ACE Diversity, we're actually going to be hosting a panel entitled Celebrating Being Black in the Outdoors, where we're inviting Dr. Raywyn Grant, who's a conservation scientist and wildlife ecologist. I practiced that at home and I thought it would go smoothly. Dr. Raywyn Grant, Fred Campbell, who's a TNF climber, and Kim Bentley, who's a part of the National Brotherhood of Skiers, really talking to us about how did you fall in love with the outdoors? What are some of those adventure gap barriers that James mentioned? And how can we continue to create access, right, for those African Americans and Black people within this who want to explore the outdoors? So we're really excited about that. Our Vans brand is rooted in youth culture and creative expression. And so what they elected to do is they're sponsoring an art contest for K through 12 students with the Orange County Heritage Council on the theme of what does African American excellence look like to you? So that actually starts on February 1st, which is a Saturday. And not only will the winners of that contest get a chance to come on campus and tour the Vans facility, but we'll be hanging their artwork in the Vans headquarters as well. I'm like, the microphone's down here. And lastly, with Dickies, they're really focused on worthy work. And so the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum and Hall of Fame is actually in Fort Worth, where Dickies is headquartered. So we've invited their executive director to the campus to talk a little bit more about the Buffalo Soldiers and their journey and their contribution to American history as we began to explore the West. And she will also be talking about one of our guiding principles of being curious and how we can continue to get students into the museums. So that's our Black History Month activation. For International Women's Day, we're going to be doing a global webcast featuring several brand athletes under the concept of not just one thing, and really talking about intersectionality of those women, their gender, their sexuality, but then also their experience within their sport and how they've had to compete and overcome different adversity. And last but not least, I wanted to just share a little bit about our action planning process. We're in that process right now. For us, we really consider inclusion diversity a cross collaboration between our business leaders and our HR business partners to ensure that we have equitable career opportunities, to ensure that we're creating a culture of workplace inclusion, and to make sure that we're leading with innovation for the consumer of the future, as several people mentioned. And so for us, we're in the process of collaborating with our talent acquisition partners, our talent development partners, and of course our HR business partners to understand what their brand or corporate functions vision is for fiscal 21, which for us starts in April, and then embedding inclusion and diversity into that. We'll go through the process of presenting that to our business leaders in March, and then we'll put a button on it and present that to our senior leadership. And our leaders are held accountable to what they're able to accomplish. So really just wanted to, again, circle it back to reflection. Kenji started this conversation reflecting on where we were 5 years ago. I think back to my first OR a year ago, and to see faces, familiar faces, and beginning to learn names and recognize people, that's an important feeling, which really is where VF is focused in the future, on that sense of belonging, right? Not just being included, not just being diverse, but how can we make sure that people belong? So again, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all enjoyed this.
That was great. Well done, Joe. Thank you.